I'm a hologram now. There's no possible way to express how disappointed I am that I am now a hologram. Look! My hair's gone! My hair's gone! I have no hair! Look! You can't see it! I got no hair! My whole face is a hologram! What happened here? So, what is going on, all you fellow gamers and meme creators? Michael Meme King back again, and today my face has turned into a hologram only because I didn't look at the contract for this super cool room. It said that within the next day my head would become a hologram, so I guess I have that to look forward to. I mean, it's either my head's a hologram or I get rid of this super cool room, and I'm not willing to part with it yet. So, yeah. But anyway, if you saw yesterday's video, I did another Baddington VHS horror video. And today we're going to do another reaction video, but it's not Baddington. Look, I'll So if you guys forgot, I used to react to Man vs. History. Well, I say used to. I still do, but he didn't upload for a while, so I had to wait. But this little masterpiece right here just got uploaded an hour ago by, of course, you know who, Man vs. History. The king has returned. Go ahead and like and subscribe on my videos as well as his. Well, subscribe to my channel and then subscribe to his channel and then like both the videos, because why not? I mean, you're here, you're clearly reacting to me reacting to Man vs. History's video, so you might as well show the man credit. I mean, look what he does. Look at the past Man vs. History videos and you'll see that they're true masterpieces. They all are. They're all masterpieces. I did a whole week's worth of just uploading Man vs. History videos, and I went mad doing it. I went nuts. So yeah, this one is called hang on. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry guys. I didn't have any problems, but I just had to, because when I'm in full screen, the title is on the top right, and the zoom controls are like in the top center, so it covers half of the title. But this one is called How to Create a Historically Accurate Cold Weather Cowboy in Red Dead Online. So yeah, we're gonna check this one out because why not? And yeah, we're just gonna get into this because I don't know.
What's going on, everybody? As you can see, I'm back in Iowa. I got a cozy fire.
Sorry guys, it was
What's going on, everybody? As you can see, I'm back in Iowa. I got a cozy fire going in the fireplace because it is 3 degrees outside right now, which seems pretty fitting then to be talking about cold in the American West, which you can use to create a historically accurate cowboy character that's dressed appropriately in the soaking rain, bitter cold, and driving snow of the Red Dead Online world. To find out exactly what these folks are wearing, I once again scoured the archives, contacted curators of various Western museums, and even spoke with rangers working at the Grant Coors Ranch National Historical Site, which was once the headquarters of a 10 million acre cattle empire in western Montana. The end result is one of the first comprehensive overviews of winter clothing in the West, particularly focused on cowboys. You asked, I delivered. Let's get started. Start with Rainwear. Following the Civil War, most folks in the American West opted to keep themselves dry by using surplus gum rubber military ponchos, basically a rubberized blanket with a slit cut out of the middle. By 1881, however, a new waterproof option was created by a man named Abner J. Tower, who developed yellow oiled linen slickers called fish skins, saddle coats, or pommel slickers. Amongst cowboys of the West, these quickly replaced the old gum rubber ponchos, becoming the go-to waterproof option. Unlike the old gum rubber blanket poncho, ponchos, fish skins were cut in the shape of a duster coat, even having a long slit up the back so that the material would drape over the back and sides of the horse in order to fully protect the man in the saddle. These were also large enough to allow cowboys to sleep under them in rainy weather. Due to these advantages, most cowboys after 1881 would be seen with a rolled up yellow fish skin slicker behind his saddle, within easy reach when the weather demanded. In Read That Online, the yellow shotgun coat is a pretty historically accurate representation of a fish skin slicker, and as a bonus, it looks pretty damn good with any cowboy outfit. I highly recommend you keep one in your pack saddle for when it rains.
So did you guys see the little ad trying to interrupt our historically accurate meme, or not meme, our historically accurate king right here? That ad tried to interrupt the video, but I paused it at just the right moment. God, I love Zoom.
In the fall, cowboys wore wool or canvas sack coats, black, gray, brown, or tan. Think of a sack coat as a slightly looser fitting blazer extending past the wearer's hips and resting around mid-thigh in length. Originally, these were meant to be buttoned up all the way, like a heavy woolen shirt, but sometimes these were worn with only the topmost button buttoned, and the hem spread to show off the waistcoat. For cowboys, this was likely utilitarian, as it was less restrictive in the saddle and therefore more comfortable while working from horseback. But this style was also popular among town and city dwellers, likely because it allowed folks to show off their watch and chain. In Read That Online, there are a couple options that are close to the historical sack coat. I recommend the Everyman jacket, the Brakeman jacket, and the Antoine jacket. Again, you'll want these in black, gray, brown, or tan. In the winter months, cowboys had a couple different options. In warmer climates, some got by wearing their wool or canvas sack coats. When one needed a bit more warmth, they would choose surplus wool army greatcoats left over from the Civil War. Given their origin, it should be of little surprise that when it came to colors, they were usually dark or light blue. In Read That Online, the Dunaway coat in dark blue is surprisingly accurate and looks pretty great. Now, it should be noted that while these wool greatcoats were adequate for cowboys or soldiers in the milder regions of the West, those in the central and northern plains dealt with significantly colder environments. Just to give you some idea of the temperature we're talking about, during the winter campaign against Crazy Horse conducted by General Nelson Miles in 1876-77, temperatures in Montana were recorded at 50 degrees below zero, or for all my European watchers, that's negative 45.5 degrees Celsius. And that's cold. Concerned for the welfare of soldiers stationed in the freezing temperatures out west, Montgomery C. Meigs, Quartermaster General of the U.S. Army, conducted a survey over the serviceability and durability of the blanket-lined surplus wool greatcoats. As a result of the survey, it was determined that the coats provided insufficient protection from frontier weather. In their place, it was instead recommended that the Army issue buffalo coats, which would keep wearers significantly warmer. In response, Quartermaster Meigs issued buffalo coats to many soldiers on the western prairies, starting in the winter of 1876. Regrettably, however, as you might know by watching my historical accuracy of buffalo hunting video, the buffalo were systematically annihilated within a couple years by buffalo hunters, the U.S. Army, Native Americans, and Western settlers. As a result, there was no longer a steady supply of buffalo robes, forcing the U.S. Army to switch to a blanket-lined, heavy canvas coat by 1879. Now, even though they were no longer issued to soldiers and most of the buffalo themselves were long gone, buffalo coats remained highly prized by all and continued to be worn by folks lucky enough to have them on the bone-chilling plains of the American West. This included not just soldiers, but also cowboys, trappers, miners, and townfolk as well. Historically, these were large, heavy coats stretching all the way to the wearer's ankle and worn with the fur out. There appears to be two different popular versions made by manufacturers at the time. One that was double-breasted with 5 sets of large, black, hard rubber buttons, each closed with a twisted cord loop, and another that was single-breasted with cloth-covered wooden toggles rather than the round, hard rubber buttons. Inside, the double-breasted version had a lining of blue wool or brown wool, and the single-breasted ones had a quilted black cotton lining. Read That Online, the brown or tan Marabay coat is a pretty fantastic representation of a traditional single-breasted buffalo coat, even sporting the correct toggles. Now, I know this is supposed to be bear fur, but it looks just like buffalo fur, so don't get hung up on that. The only other inaccuracy are the 2 pockets extending out of the front, which historically should be higher up on the coat, angled, and go to interior, not exterior pockets. But again, these small inaccuracies shouldn't deter you from using it. Now, I love these coats, and I've been lobbying for their inclusion in the game for some time, so I'm just happy to have them. The other cold weather option popular among northern cowboys at the time was the sheep's wool jacket. While shorter in length and a bit less formidable against the cold, it was still a viable alternative to the warmer but bulkier buffalo coat. Read That Online is a solid example of this one with their sheep's wool jacket, which you'll want to pick up in brown or tan. Let's talk about hats. Now, I must say that finding information about hats worn by cowboys in the winters of the late 1800s was much more difficult than I had expected, as most of my typical resources never discussed it, and photos from the period were almost always taken in summer. As such, I reached out to the National Cowboy and Western Museum and was put in touch with Michael R. Grauer, the chair of cowboy culture and curator of cowboy collections. He informed me that most cowboys were from Texas originally, so initial responses to cold weather were to simply tie the brim down on the cowboy hat, tack like ear flaps using the neckerchief or bandana. This was confirmed in my communication with Dan Shook, park ranger I consulted at Grant Coors Ranch National Historical Site in western Montana, who added that some cowboys also used the bandana like a headband but angled it down over their ears and simply wore the cowboy hat over it. So if you're designing a cold weather southern cowboy, stick with the cowboy hat. Now if you're designing a cold weather northern cowboy, that is on the central and northern plains, you have a couple more options. While many still wore cowboy hats regardless of the weather, Michael Grauer mentioned that some cowboys were introduced to sheepskin lined wool caps with ear flaps by Eastern European and Scandinavian immigrants, which unsurprisingly was a much better solution during the sub-zero winters. These were very similar to the regulation model 1879 U.S. Army winter muskrat fur hats, which were issued to soldiers on the frozen prairies of the West. These were lined in red wool and, like the sheepskin lined wool hats introduced by immigrants, sported black tie strings connected to the ear flaps, which could be lowered to fully cover the ears of the wearer. The big difference, however, was that these muskrat hats had the fur facing out and the wool in, while the immigrant hat was opposite. I read that online, there's regrettably no accurate representation of the immigrant hat currently available in the Wheeler and Rawson catalog. Still, the brown Sobol hat is spot on for the muskrat hat. All that said, the arrangement looks a bit strange to me with anything other than the buffalo coat. Now you folks do what you want, I'm gonna keep rocking the cowboy hat and just pretend like I put a bandana over my ears. Year-round, most cowboys wore leather gloves, a practical accessory that protected them from barbed wire while installing fencing, rope burns while working with cattle, and blisters from manual labor. While the leather gloves gave a measure of warmth in cold weather, cowboys of the central and northern plains would often transition to wool or fur mittens in sub-zero temperatures, which provided better insulation for the hand as the fingers could share body heat. To retain dexterity, 2 slits were cut on the inside of the mittens, allowing the wearer to use his thumb and index finger when necessary. In the harshest environments, buffalo fur gloves were the best available option, evident by the fact that they were issued by the Army along with buffalo coats and muskrat hats. I read that online there are several types of leather gloves that suffice historically. However, at the time of making this video, there are no mittens. There is evidence that some cowboys wore wool scarves in the winter, which could be utilized in much the same way as the traditional bandana, just significantly warmer, larger, heavier, and more cumbersome. And read that online there's a wool neck scarf, but it appears to be far too thin, so it doesn't really look the way you'd want it. Same with the Inglet scarf, which looks like you're on your way to a luau. Instead, I suggest you go with the gathered bandana. In concluding this video, I thought I'd give you some good examples of some cold weather cowboy outfits. Here we have a rainy weather cowboy, based on the Southern Range cowboy outfit we created on the How to Create Historically Accurate Cowboy Character video. This consists of the worn Roper's boots and the brown Alvarado chaps, and by the way, you can just put whatever pants underneath these you prefer. Up top, we've got the navy frontiersman shirt paired with the red neckerchief. Over that, we had the yellow shotgun coat as our fish skin slicker, and crown our heads with the tan military scout hat. If you already have a historical cowboy created, just add the fish skin and you're good to go. Next, we'll look at a fall cowboy, which, with small variations, could apply to cowboys on either range during the spring and fall seasons, or even for winter cowboys on the southern plains. To keep things simple, we'll start with a southern fall version. For this, we kept everything the same below the waist with the rainy weather cowboy. Up top, we've got the collar overshirt, tan traditional vest, and a red gathered bandana. Over that, we placed the tan Antoine jacket and a matching military scout hat. To convert this to a northern fall cowboy, just swap out the Alvarado chaps and military scout hat with the Heathland chaps and the Liberty hat. At that point, you can change out jackets, vests, and shirts to your liking while still remaining historically accurate. To create a winter cowboy, you'll start with the southern or northern fall cowboy we just made. For a southern winter cowboy, you just continue to use the sack coat, or you can upgrade to the Dunaway coat in dark blue. For a northern one, start with the northern fall template, but swap in the sheep's wool jacket, or go all out with the fur Marebay coat. To create a blizzard-proof northern winter cowboy, just add the brown Sobol hat. Now that you folks know how to make your own cold weather cowboy, get on out there, stay toasty, keep looking historically accurate, and I'll see you out on the snowy trails. you folks for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure that you like and you subscribe. And if you want to further support my efforts, you can do so on Patreon, or you can visit the Man vs. History Outfitter shop, where you can get all your gear for the modern frontier and support the channel in the process. Thank you folks for watching. Please have a wonderful night. We'll see you next time.
So yeah, check out the guy's Patreon. See, he's got his own thing going. He's got products. He's got, wait, let me check the link. Maybe there's a link to it. Oh yeah, here it is. So I'll put the Man vs. History Outfitters shop, and I'll put the link in the description, so that way if you guys are curious, you guys can check out what kind of cool stuff he has. I might actually consider checking it out and save up to buy some stuff that I probably don't need, but we'll probably get anyway. But yeah, I feel like Man vs. History said everything that needed to be said. Like and subscribe, and comment on the video, and tell me what else you want to see on my channel. And yeah, Man vs. History is back. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here, and I'll see you guys for the next one. How do I do this? 260 videos later, and I still don't know how to do this. Okay, there. Let's see. Oh, finally. Get out of that thing. I was sweaty. They just don't understand how hard it is to make videos and only get 8 or 14 of them to actually see them. They just don't know how hard it is. I just don't know how hard it is. Oh crap, I'm still recording.